Deconstructing. Shishi, bitch, tuna melts. Can I get a holla for an A-plus title my wife did not want to hear last night any more than her wanting to hear tomorrow how Congress grew a collective ballsack and voted in favor of the Donald becoming the next president of the United States, making ball busting great again, long time, while taking down every evil usurper, scumbag, enabler, Chinese sucker offer, syphicant that's ever lived or ever will. Holla! Thank you very much! But on the lighter side of things, let's get back to deconstructing shishi, bitch, tuna melts. But backtrack a little bit. First wife says, no one understands shishi. And I said, again, you insisting that only Baptist fundamentalists from Kansas are, that being the only population that listens to my podcast 400 episodes in, is glaringly infuriating. So go woke yourself. Holla! Thank you very much! And this is episode 400. Wow. It's a lot of material, folks. Plenty of comedic sheets of comedy gold. Not that my wife would know, but any of that. Never checking out one episode in its entirety. But that's okay. I didn't create the podcast for her. I didn't create it for my parents. Didn't create it for my younger brother. Didn't create it for fake news friends in high school. I did it to fight the good fight. To deliver A-plus gem rate. To become the God-powered comedian I was meant to be. And it's been a glorious run. It's not over yet. But tomorrow, regardless of the result, will translate in me not doing any more political material ever again. I am maxed out. I've only completely desecrated every past relationship of any so-called value in my life because of my support of the Big Don. I don't regret it for a second. If I could do it all over again, I'd be even more hardcore in my professed loving affection and support for the greatest patriot president we've ever known, I'll ever see in our day. Can I get a holla for preaching the gospel a long time in honor of the Big Donald? I'm going to take a sip of beer for you because you're the chosen one. Holla! In the sense of you being chosen to expose unprecedented evil on a biblical scale here in this lifetime that's not in the Old Testament. Holla! Thank you very much! Bring on the Kraken! Holla! Sidney Powell! You become special counselor, I will go down in your box a long time. I don't care if it tastes like... What happened? She broke a glass? Did she impale her? Anything? Okay. Alright. So you hurt yourself? Okay. So my daughter broke a glass, and which reminds me of my wedding, when my mom's sole responsibility was to get a wine glass for me to step on, so everyone could yell Mazel Tov, right? And she apparently there's a very specific glass for that. It's very easily breakable. Yet for some reason she got me this enormous red wine Burgundian glass that I would need my Sergeant Slaughter freaking boot to shatter into seamlessly in order to neutralize my inherent surging puttiness in such a all eyes on me situation. And I came through because I am strong and follow through. And I'm not a freaking choke artist, and neither's the Donald. So come through tomorrow, big fella. I'm tired of hearing all this chatter about you being a whiny wimp on your way out the door, okay? You got full-blown authority, all right? You're the freaking president of the United States, most powerful man in the world. As you know, you're much smarter than me, not even a contest. But please, in the freaking name of God, you better make that surprise fucking worth it tomorrow, because if not, I have no idea how to explain my future to my children with any sort of positive, glinty, optimistic charm whatsoever. And I'm not going to say holla because it's too depressing for Ellie to fucking contemplate. Unless I'm going to assume you're going to come through with something huge in the form of revealing freaking Jeffrey Epstein's still alive, or John F. Kennedy Jr. is still alive. You're going to see you're going to recommend his plastic surgeon that made him barely undetectable. And all of a sudden, on the Jumbotron is Nancy denture breath Pelosi being dragged to the freaking gallows by her falling out teeth in her best Kunta Kinte garb. Now that would be must-see TV. And I pray to God that you make this better than anything I could possibly imagine. And so do 80 million branded racists and growing. Holla! Thank you very much! I want General Flynn to be in charge of the gallows. I'm a freaking moron right now. I mean, the only thing I got going for me at this stage is that I'm not a freaking U.S. senator that's voting to decertify these fraudulent results. I'm not big time enough to have Antifa harass me just yet. I don't own a gun. What am I going to do? Use my Big Bertha to defend my family? My freaking chest. Please root out the leaders behind the criminal, nefarious, scumbag thuggery behind BLM and Antifa tomorrow. Please, Mr. President, with sugar on top. Does Melania has some special, like, radiant, glowy freaking power ring, by just revealing a tiny little bit of her God-blessed freaking Death Star shooting snatch against pure evil when it's about to infest all of DC at once? Holla! Thank you very much! Having a lot of fun on this podcast tonight. 400 episodes. It's called Vin Diesel. 500 fights. 500 fights. That's how many fights in my neighborhood that they say you had to get into in order to call yourself a legitimate tough guy, to develop thicker skin. So I got started. Holla! Thank you very much! If my wife were listening to this podcast, she'd say, you still suck at acting. But no offense, babe. A Jew doing a Jew, or a Jew doing a Italian playing a Jew isn't a stretch. Last time I checked. Not a radical departure from reality. Similar to the extremist Muslim on my Southwest flight during COVID, dressed in her best beekeeper burqa attire from head to toe. Holla! Thank you very much! Getting very fired up here, folks. I was at a wine shop earlier today, and the woman said, "Please, can you wait a sec? Because I'm still ringing up these other customers." And she said, "You don't mind?" I said, "No, don't worry about it." And I said, "At the same time, I'm sure you're thinking, if this pretty boy faggot can mosey along into my wine shop at 4:20 in the afternoon without a freaking major concern consuming his reality right now, it's safe to say that he doesn't have any more important places to be." Holla! Thank you very much! I only wish that carefree part was the case. So, where do we go now? Where do we go? Deconstructing shishi bitch tuna melts. So this is a great story. So I share these titles with my wife. I haven't shared anything writing related to her in a gazillion years. It's been a long time. She used to read everything, all my scripts, my 30 Rocks, Family Guys, and my jokes when I used to perform in the city. And so I'm sharing some titles with her yesterday. I thought it'd be nice. Really dumb idea. Stupid! So stupid! And then I had to hear, well, I hope this doesn't mean you're writing another book, that being the Coach-Sharing Diet. Of course I am. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going after other writing jobs. Today I actually made some successful headway. I mentioned the podcast before about when you do a podcast that would put a spotlight on all of the accelerated job training college programs and trade schools, throughout the U.S. That also provide programs in animation, multimedia. So I had a very successful connection today through LinkedIn, and I'm very excited about it. It's so good. I want to share the pitch. I want to show the importance of selling. Dear blank, I like the UX flow to your website. Boom. Okay? Already I'm using like Inside Knowledge, UX flow. You have to. Some stuttering jerk off is not going to open with that sentence. And this guy's in charge of marketing, so chances are he's in charge of what's on the freaking website, which deals with content, and flow's important because that's what all UX design is all about. It's all about a user-friendly interface, meaning a website that doesn't look more cluttered than freaking Japanese lettering on candy that always looks way too busy looking for my taste. Holla! Thank you very much! So, I gotta take a sip of beer. I'm just getting warmed up. I'm having them look at me. Still, here we go. Dear X, I like the UX Floaty website. Alright, that's my kiss. Okay? It's not a tickle of the ball reach out, but it's a nice kiss. Not a sloppy kiss. Not a desperate, suck face kiss right before the ball drops on New Year's Eve. So we're off to a strong start. I like the UX flow to your website. Still, I struggle to learn about more success alumni stories on your site. Now I got my paws in them. So I'm talking about an intention, a good intention. But then I'm saying, nice user flow, but if I'm going to place myself in the shoes of potential students, I'm going to want to hear about success stories. If you're going to say, well, don't go to Wokified University in freaking Wichita, Kansas for the privilege of your parents spending $500,000 in the process, while you have to defend Israel's right to exist every 2 seconds, while your coworkers play with Play-Doh when Ben Shapiro's in town, giving another speech on how to own liberals. Well, he has to pay freaking $50,000 security detail, which is beyond pathetic, knowing he's the second least threatening Jew on this planet after Chelsea Clinton's neutered hubby. And so you have that option. So if you're a trade school, you got to deliver the freaking testimonial heft of why I can go to school for a fraction of the price, quarter of the time, and come out with a freaking job and job offers and not having to deal with headhunters and have my pick and not being some desperate, underused, overexploited schmuck in a headset like the rest. Holla! Thank you very much! So, I'm taking a sip of beer. Still, I struggle to learn about more success alumni stories on your site. Woody Allen said for a joke, it needs to be airtight. But the same applies to an effective marketing reach out connection request on LinkedIn. Which reminds me, this is an old impersonation. that I should do on the podcast, and I think it's appropriate, this being number 400. This is my impersonation of Dr. Dre discussing recent business merger talk with his younger prodigy turned mega rap superstar, Eminem. Here we go. This is Dre. Hey, Slim. Microsoft paid $4.5 billion for LinkedIn. And Eminem says, "What? LinkedIn is lamer than ever, yo. Can I get a holla for an A plus old school gem that still shines brighter than ever? Holla. Thank you very much." Again, blog posts are nice. This is line number 3. Blog posts are nice, but have you considered doing a podcast with alum to tell their success stories on it too? Can I get a holla for a freaking awesome inquiry shaped ask that doesn't come across as overtly, nauseatingly, boiler room type pushy? Holla. Thank you very much. Have you considered? I pitched out to my wife today as I was getting to work to prove to her that I'm not just dedicating the totality of my being to writing another book while we go broke in the process. And if Antifa take out my entire record collection altogether, including the Lou Reed records. Which reminds me, I have an idea for Lena Dunham if she wants to write what they call a YA title for like teenagers. Okay, so is my idea. So you call this book, it could be a series called By Curious George, and it's a story for sexually confused hipster spawn throughout Brooklyn and beyond, reared on Lou Reed Records. Holla! Thank you very much! So, and again, last line. I can help attract more students as a host and blogger. Can I get a holla? For me getting more excited over a pitch that could lead to a freelance writing career and a podcast platform that could usher in a wave of respectability and professional stability that I never had in my fucking life. So I'll cheers to that and say, thank you, Lord, for getting me excited about this, because the jokes are getting me nowhere. Holla! Thank you very much! But they're certainly not translating to freaking book sales, but I'm glad, and I'm not being sarcastic, I'm glad, more than glad, overjoyed at the audience I've been able to build on this podcast as a result. It hasn't been just jokes, but it's been a lot. And if my jokes sucked, and if I was a hack, I don't think these downloads would exist. My parents don't have that many friends that care about my self-esteem, not there's ever flogging. Nor would my parents ever go to their way to tell their friends that they had this many friends to boost my spirits by downloading copies of my podcast that they don't even know the name of. Holla. Thank you very much! The Do It All Dead Year podcast? Yeah, it doesn't sound very professional, son. I changed that. But it's a lot better than killerset@gmail.com. Can I get a holla for getting all whimsical, reflecting back on my A-plus email title of old that I wanted to call my first comedy record, which I should have done in retrospect. If I get a freaking agent sometime this century, Trump gets reelected, if there's really God in heaven, which I believe, then we will call Resist This killerset@gmail.com. Holla! Thank you very much! And that's it, folks. What started as a podcast where I just wanted to read to you some funny food writing with some good Woody Allen jokes, and it turns into a value added, heavily strokery tutorial on how to write a very effective business to business LinkedIn connection request inquiry. Holla! Thank you very much. But I'm pumped. I reach out to a bunch of trade schools today, and I'm going to keep it up because I'm very passionate about this. Like my goal, people ask, so what's your mission statement with this podcast? I need to come up with a name with it. New Lease on Life podcast, New Lease on Life column. I like to do both. I want to write the stories and I want to do the podcast. I'm going to be the teachers that make these new leases on life happen and the students themselves that are now able to have fulfilling careers beyond their wildest dreams. And I want to put academia out of business, meaning all the Ivy Leagues and other private universities that have created this freaking shit show of biblical proportions on social media and today that are all a bunch of ill-informed, non-critical thinking, uppity, freaking unhuggable cunt of the most deplorable order that I will fail as a parent glaringly if my children end up doing the same. Holla! Thank you very much! So, I love Do It All Dad Nation. I love President Trump for everything he's done for our country and for exposing all the evil. Gotta be honest, Donald, I'm gonna have a hard time loving you if I don't see a big freaking surprise tomorrow. I'll still have very strong feelings for you, but love could be significantly subdued if Melania doesn't unleash that powerful, glinty, freaking Death Star power ray that could make a bunch of Antifa peons burn in the sun like a magnifying glasses applied on their freaking Punisher vigilante wannabe faces. God, I love you for giving me a platform to talk about you, to go closer to you, and to go closer to my family, specifically my kids, who have believed in me every step of the way. And last night, I mentioned before, where I was saying, I don't want to write another book. It's futile. That's always nice to hear. Futile. And just make it all about like me being egocentric. I'm thinking, have you been reading the Book of Psalms by King Solomon lately? That's right. You don't believe that stuff. And my daughter sends me an email out of the blue right after I did this post that I was going to read to you. That you guys can just read on my blog. It's no big deal. That being deconstructing she bitch in her mouth. And my daughter says, she sends me all these emojis and she sends a picture, a screenshot of Controlling Kids, a Comedy Love Story. She says, Daddy, keep on writing. And she made a comment about how I shouldn't give up on getting an agent. And how she says, you're going to get an agent and to keep on plugging away and to essentially ignore mama's negative, perpetual, bitchy, dour persona altogether. And it's really wonderful in life to have anyone, especially your daughter, your firstborn, believe in you as much as she does. I mean, she was the inspiration behind the Bashart 9-year-old talent agent that makes my doodle dad year come true in the Great American Jew novel. So she's remaining true to form. And then to have a lucky number 3, Samuel Chosen Curls is bound to woo, talk about his upcoming birthday, and say, Daddy, I definitely want more wrestling figures for my birthday. In particular, I want you to get Bruno Sammartino. And I made a comment after. I said to my wife, I said, God really loves you and you have an adorable kid. If I could say, Bruno Sammartino was such adorable, fun-filled happiest boy in the world universe relish. I love you, Matilda, Arthur, and Samuel, for giving me the strength and unmatched beauty to become the comedian and do it all dad that I aspire to become. Thank you all. Can't wait for the big surprise tomorrow, Donald. I love you long time forward even more. And I'll talk to you guys soon.